Hello, you. So, I wanted to share something with you. It's a fantastic resource, and I think you're really going to like it. It's written by an amazing therapist and mother named Dawn Huebner, and she wrote a book called Facing Mighty Fears About Throwing Up. Yes, indeed. So this is really cool. It's part of the Dr. Dawn's mini books about mighty fears. And she is fantastic. She's such a good resource. So if you have a lot of thoughts and feelings that just won't go away and you just have a really hard time controlling them, or getting them like unstuck, or getting yourself unstuck from those worry thoughts, well, Dr. Dawn is a fantastic person to help with that. So I thought I would share with you Dr. Dawn's book about facing mighty fears about throwing up, because that is something that we are working through, right? So let's take a look. And it looks like it's illustrated by a lady named Liza Stevens. All right, excellent. Oh, look at that. Copyright 2022. So this is like a super new book. Awesome. Super cool. Okay, ready? So it says, let's see, let's go to the first page. And why would anybody want to read a book about throwing up? See, there's question marks all over. Why would anyone want to read a book about throwing up? Throwing up is smelly and unpleasant. It's disgusting, distasteful, disagreeable, dreadful. Throwing up is certainly not something we choose to do, yet most of us end up doing it, at least once in a while. If you happen to be a child who is fascinated by puke, you're in the right place. There's plenty that's fascinating here. Fun fact, most people can't tell the difference between the smell of vomit and the smell of Parmesan cheese. A scientist did a study in which she had people smell butyric acid, that's the main smell in vomit. When they were told it was Parmesan cheese, they happily sniffed it. They sniffed it in. When they were told it was vomit, they said it smelled terrible and didn't want to go near it. Huh, interesting. Why do you think that is, friend? Why do you think when they thought it was Parmesan cheese, they were like, okay, I'm cool with this? And then how come when they were told that it was vomit, they were like, oh my God, that's so disgusting, I can't? Do you think it's because they liked the Parmesan cheese, so like they associated it with something that they liked, and that allowed, because their mind liked it, their body was okay with it? Or because their body was okay with it, because their nose was okay with it, maybe their mind was then okay with it? What do you think? I know what I think, but I'm wondering what you think. Okay, fun fact number 2. There are empty vomit bags on the moon. U.S. astronauts Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin would have left actual spew on the moon when they left behind other garbage, but no one threw up on their trip. Well, that's impressive. And if you are the opposite, if you are not fascinated by vomit and you're the opposite, in fact, you hate everything associated with throwing up and would rather throw this book across the room than read it, well, you are in the right place too. How can that be? How can one book be right for both puke lovers and puke haters? Oh my gosh, you guys, seriously, are there puke lovers? I don't want to be judgmental, but I find that really hard to believe. Well, there's a saying that goes, what we resist persists. Resist is a verb. To deny, push away, fight vigorously against. Persist, to stick around, stay stubbornly in place. This means the more we avoid thinking about throwing up, the more thoughts about throwing up will follow us around. The more desperately we try to push those thoughts away, the more stubbornly the thoughts will hold on. So this looks like a whole bunch of, this is a picture, I don't know if you can see it, but it's a little child just like pushing away all the different names for throwing up and vomit. So looks like he's pushing away feed the fish, gush, heave, liquid scream, upchuck, eject, blow chunks, emit, uneat, hurl, spew, vomit, toss your cookies, get sick, volcano, spit up, erupt, puke, be sick, rainbow shower, ew, irk, yak, barf, Ralph, retch. Okay, well, I guess those are all the names for it. Ugh, the last thing any of us wants is to have a brain full of puke thoughts. Oh my gosh, they have more. They actually have more. Look, he's sitting there. We don't even need to read them, do we really? Oh my gosh. So how can you get your puke thoughts to go away? Well, if you stop resisting, if you let yourself think about, talk about, even joke about throwing up, your fear will no longer persist. Instead, it will fade away. It's funny how that works. To be able to stop thinking about something, like throwing up, you have to stop trying to not think about it. So look at that picture. Instead, you have to think about it on purpose a lot. You have to learn about it and talk about it and laugh about it and get used to it so you can get to the point of not being so bothered by it. You have to walk towards your fear rather than away from it. Face it to get rid of it. Here's a picture of, there's like a mobile like spinning around with the different names of throw up on it, and she's gonna just be present to it. So here we go. We're going to face puke. There she is, facing the puke. But we're gonna start slowly by talking about something that isn't disgusting at all. Something that's actually quite wonderful. Bodies. Bodies, 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 bodies. Bodies. Everyone has a body, although not all bodies are the same. Some bodies are tall or short, lean or curvy, dark or light, or a shade that's in between. But none of that matters because every body, no matter the shape, size, or the color, can do all sorts of things. Mostly, we don't think about our bodies. We don't sit around studying our ankles. I definitely don't. Or noticing the movement of our chin. I don't really notice the movement of my chin. We don't recount our fingers each day or check to make sure our elbows still bend. We don't think about the way our eyes blink or consider the way our mouths slurp and chew and giggle and spit and blow and whisper and sing. We don't notice the way our toes wiggle and point and spread and balance, or marvel at the way our skin, this flexible, repairable stuff, holds us all together. I got a bone to pick about the flexible part of the skin. We take our bodies for granted, which means that we trust them to do what they need to do without paying attention to the details. Even if one part of your body doesn't work the same as other people's bodies, your body is still amazing. Your brain and your body and the people who care about you find clever ways to get things done. Sometimes we have to tell our bodies what to do, but mostly they hum along on their own, breathing and blinking and swallowing and digesting without any instructions from us. And that's good. It would be annoying if you had to tell your body every single thing it needed to do. Look at this. Oh, look, this is like you playing soccer. But in this picture, this girl is saying, okay, bring right leg down, flex toes, raise left leg, move right arm back, raise right leg, move left arm forward. All of that. Can you imagine having to tell every single body part what to do when you're trying to play soccer? That would be really hard to enjoy the game. It's a good thing that we're not designed that way, that there are just certain things that our bodies just do on their own without any instruction from us. It's like that with all the basic things our bodies do to keep us alive. Breathing, sleeping, swallowing, eliminating, otherwise known as pooing. Let's talk about the last thing, eliminating, to completely remove or get rid of something. You've been eliminating since you were a baby. Everyone has. From the day you were born until you are very, very old, your body takes the extra parts of the food that you eat and the liquids that you drink, the parts you don't need, and gets rid of them. It's pretty remarkable, actually. Poop and pee, poop and pee. Sometimes our bodies eliminate things in a gentle, drippy way, like the way a baby drools, right? Or the way your nose runs when it's cold outside, right? It's gentle elimination. And sometimes we eliminate things more vigorously. We expel them. So expel, also a verb. Why do I know that? Because it's an action word. It means to do something. So expel is a verb that means to get rid of something forcefully. See, like a really strong sneeze or a really deep cough. So, yep, there it is. Throwing up. We're finally back to talking about that because throwing up is one of the ways our bodies expel the things we don't need. So, for example, she wrote on here, my body's favorite ways to expel things. Passing gas, otherwise known as farting, tooting, breaking wind, mouse on a moped, stepping on a frog, sneezing, burping, throwing up. Those are your body's favorite ways to expel things. Fun fact, birds of prey, like owls or hawks, regurgitate. That's a fancy word for throw up. They throw up pellets made of undigested bone and fur and feathers to rid themselves of the parts of their prey that they can't digest. After they throw up these pellets, they're ready to eat again. Fun fact number 2, cats groom themselves by licking, and then they puke up the hair that it gets all clumped up like a hairball, and then they feel so much better after gacking out all these slimy hairballs. So maybe throwing up isn't what you call it. That's okay. There are lots of words that mean the same thing. Hurl, get sick, gush, Ralph, barf, yak, vomit, be sick, feed the fish, spew, retch, blow chunks, upchuck, toast your cookies, eject, heave, puke, volcano, irk, erupt, rainbow shower. I still don't understand that, but that is just so gross to me. Uneat, emit, liquid scream, spit up, regurgitate. Fun fact, the word puke was first used in the 16th century by the now famous bard William Shakespeare. I did not know that, and I'm an avid Shakespeare fan, by the way. Sometimes we throw up because we've eaten too much, and our bodies can't handle all the food we've taken in. Sometimes we throw up because we've been exposed to germs. Yep. exposed to germs, and our bodies need to empty themselves so we can get back to feeling better. Sometimes we throw up because we're allergic to something that we've eaten or sensitive to it. It's as if the food doesn't agree with us, and our body needs to get rid of it. So in that case, when you throw up because it's a virus or because you're allergic to it, vomiting is actually like your body's very own doctor helping to make you better. So even though it's unpleasant, it tastes gross, it's uncomfortable when it's happening, it makes us feel really crappy afterwards for a while. Sorry, parents, if you don't like that word that I used it, but look, we're talking about vomiting. I mean, can't be the worst thing that you've heard all day. But it really is so important that our body be able to do that when it's trying to help us stay healthy and safe. So sometimes we throw up because we are super excited, or because we've been bouncing around, or our bodies get confused and decide to clear out just in case. Hey, fun fact of my own, that's, I don't know if it's in this book or not, but let me tell you, motion sickness. So my little girl has issues sometimes with motion sickness on planes, in cars, especially if she's riding in the back seat, windy roads, has a really difficult time with that. And so I was studying on how hypnosis could help her overcome her motion sickness. And what I learned about why we feel nauseous and feel like we're gonna vomit when we're on a boat and it's like really rocky waves, or we're in a car, or on a school bus and the exhaust fumes makes us feel nauseous. It's because our body doesn't really know what is happening when our bodies are going faster than they are designed to go on their own. And so it's really unnatural for us to be flying at such high speeds or driving, way faster than we could ever walk on foot or run. And so our brain doesn't know how to adjust. For some people it doesn't, they're just not sensitive to it. But those of us who are, it's because your body thinks since it doesn't have like a specific way to deal with motion sickness, it goes under the category of poisoning. So your body goes, oh well, I don't know what to do with this feeling. I'll just file it under the the file of I've been poisoned, and we'll just throw up. Because when we throw up, we always feel better. We just get out whatever's going on. So motion sickness is interesting because when we do hypnosis for motion sickness, it's a little different. It's all about helping the body understand that this is not a problem from within. There's nothing you have eaten that needs to come out. It's that you have to adjust to the speed that your body is going. So it's actually something from the outside making you feel icky, not something from the inside. Anyway, interesting fun fact about that. Hey, check it out, you guys. Another fun fact about animals. Snakes vomit. Snakes! They vomit for the same reasons people do, including nerves. I didn't know that snakes got nervous. What do you think makes a snake nervous? Well, it says that, there's just lots of reasons for throwing up, especially when we're young and our bodies are still figuring out how to do things. Because as we get older, our bodies get better at handling upsets, like, eating too much food, or too much motion, too much stress, too many germs, and we throw up less and less. Fun fact, wolf pups lick their parents' mouths to get the adult wolf to throw up. They then gobble down their parents' vomit. A tasty treat for any young pup. But for everyone, throwing up sometimes just happens. It just does. So, throwing up can feel scary. It's uncomfortable and messy and embarrassing if you aren't at home. Yes. And once throwing up starts, you really can't stop it, right? You can't really stop it. And that just feels awful too. But even though it feels bad, throwing up isn't dangerous. Fun fact, hyenas love to roll in vomit. Some kids' brains make a mistake about thinking that because vomiting is so uncomfortable that it's dangerous. Some kids' brains think, throwing up? That's the worst thing ever! And for those kids, the possibility of throwing up becomes a big deal. Hello, that would be me. There's a name for this. Emetophobia, an intense fear of throwing up. See, not only is this totally common and tons of people, kids and grown-ups of all ages, have this issue, they even have a special name for it. Emetophobia. Fun fact, puke comes in lots of colors. If you haven't eaten for a while, your vomit might be clear. Kids who have emetophobia try to protect themselves from throwing up. They avoid the foods they ate the last time they threw up. I did that. They stay away from the clothes they were wearing and the things that they touched. Sound familiar? Don't want to sit on certain parts of the couch. Don't want to wear the same clothes. They don't go near anyone who has been sick or might be sick or could get sick. They ask for reassurance that they aren't going to be sick. Can you feel my forehead? Is this healthy? Will I be okay? Will this make me sick? Do I have a fever? See, honey? Look at that. It's not just you. It is not just you. And that's good news. Do you know why? Because it means that you're not stuck with this. So many kids and grown-ups have had the same exact situation, and they are healing it. And so can you. Kids with emetophobia don't want to even think about throwing up, and yet they end up thinking about it all the time. Look at our little friend there, just surrounded in the thoughts. But the thing is, it doesn't matter if you think about throwing up or not, or if you eat certain foods or not, unless you're truly allergic to those foods, and then yes, it does matter. Or if you wear the clothes that you threw up in or not. If your body needs to throw up, it's going to throw up. That is just the way it is. Puke happens. And it's good, actually. It's good to throw up. Because even though it's yucky while it's happening, it helps our bodies get back on track. We throw up, and then we're done. And we start to feel better. Fun fact, butterfly caterpillars throw up green puke that smells and tastes bad, which keeps predators like birds away. Fun fact, turkey vultures vomit to keep themselves safe. Vomiting makes them lighter so they can fly away more easily. And their puke is acidic, which stings their predators and slows them down. Super vomit. Sometimes there's more your body needs to get rid of and you'll throw up again. But whether you puke 1 time or 3 times or 4 times or 6 times, eventually the vomiting, the throwing up, it will stop and you'll start to feel better. Someone will clean things up and help you find a nice, clean place to rest. If you aren't at home, the grown-ups around you will help you get there, okay? You remember when that happened to you? You got sick and you weren't at home, and that was really hard. That was really, really hard. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna finish reading the story, and then I'm going to take you through a tapping sequence where we're going to tap out all the big feelings left over from that experience so that you can be free of it. Now, if you get sick and you're not at home, the grown-ups there will help you get home. Once you are home, you'll get to put on comfy clothes and snuggle on a couch or in your bed. You might get to read a book if you're up to it, or watch one of your favorite shows. Maybe you'll just want to sleep. Or maybe you'll feel totally fine and be ready to continue your day. Either way, it will just be a brief yuck, and you'll deal with it. And life will go on. Okay? It'll be brief, it'll be gross, and it'll be brief, and it'll be over, and you'll deal with it. And the grown-ups around you will deal with it. And you are going to be okay. And you've already been through the worst of it in your life. I don't think it's ever going to be worse. So, the fun fact here is people pay lots of money for rare whale vomit. Whale vomit smells bad in the water, but gets sweeter as it mixes with the air, which is why it's used in some of the finest perfumes. Interesting. So to help your brain realize that puke happens and it's not that big a deal, here's what you need to do. Step 1, find your favorite word for throwing up. There are lots of words to choose from. Every day, repeat your favorite word. Say it lots of times. Use the word in a rap song. Okay, look. They gave you like puke, barf, get sick, gush, yak, Ralph, right? Okay. So, okay. There, let's do it as a rap song. Ready? Okay. Hip hop, hooray! Puke, barf, gush, hip hop, hooray! Yak, get sick. Vomit, hip hop, hooray, puke, gush, barf. You get the picture. You could do it like that, or you could be like, write a poem about it. Write a poem about it. Oh, vomit, 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 vomit. How I love the way you help my body feel better. Oh, vomit, you are my best friend in puke clothing. Pretend it's a tongue twister and say it 20 times fast. Ready? Vomit, 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 vomit. Now you try to do it. Vomit, 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 vomit. And then choose another word for it and do it all over again. Throw up, 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 throw up. I throw up, I throw up, I throw up, I throw up. I feel better. I feel better. Okay, so you can do all kinds of things. You could be like, I'm a worry-wise warrior and I can throw up. Nothing can stop me because I can throw up and I'm fine. I am not a rapper. I am not a rapper. Or you could write a poem about throw up. So you see what I'm saying? You're going to use your favorite words and you're going to play with them. Now, something I like to do is take a word and say it, or a phrase. Like if your phrase is, if I go to school, I am going to vomit. Okay. Take that sentence and just notice, where do you hear that sentence in your body? Is it in your brain, chest, tummy, shoulder? Where is it coming from? And then notice, who does the voice remind you of? Does it sound like anyone you know? Now, listen to the voice again. Does it sound loud or soft? Like it's really close up or really far away? If you go to school, you're going to throw up, right? If that's the voice. What I like to do is take that sentence that inner voice is saying and I like to move it. So if I'm hearing it, let's say in my head up here, see if I can roll it down and swallow it down and roll it to my shoulder. And see if I can roll it down my arm and see if I can flick it. Another thing I like to do with that voice is change the way it sounds. So if I go to school, I'm going to vomit. I can change that to an opera voice. If I go to school, I'm going to vomit. Or we can make it a funny voice, like, if I go to school, I'm going to vomit. Or we could do it like a Valley girl. Like, if I go to school, I'm totally gonna vomit. You can totally play with it. So you could do it with a British accent. If I go to school, I'm going to vomit. Or you can make it like a cowgirl. Hey y'all, if I go to school, I'm gonna vomit. So the idea is say it in as many different character voices as you want, different accents, different, you can sing it, you can rap it, you can yodel it, however you want. But when you do this, notice the way it changes the way you hear that sentence. Notice the way you react differently when you move it through your body from one place to another and you change the way it sounds. Completely takes the power out of it. It's awesome. Okay, let's see what else Dr. Dawn has though. That's a little Jaime tip for you. Okay, let's see. Moving on. Make your puke word into a beautiful poster to hang in your room. I don't know. I don't know if mom and dad are going to go for that one. I don't know. Use index cards to create a Go Fish deck with all your favorite vomit words. Play Go Puke by asking, do you have spew? Do you have an upchuck? Do you have vomit? Be creative. Find ways to sing about, draw about, and act out throwing up. Make it goofy. Make it gross. Do it again and again. Sorry, my little girl just walked in. Fun fact, houseflies barf onto their own food to break the food down and make it easier to digest. Yum, yum. Okay, and now we have, no thank you, no thank you. And now we have step 2, whenever you start to feel afraid, tell yourself, if I get better, if I get sick, I get sick, and then I'll feel better. So this is a really, really, really important part, okay? Because this is where we actually tell the part of our mind that keeps on, sorry, I have a hair in my face. This is where we tell the part of our mind that is stuck on the fear of vomiting. It just says, you know, if I go to school today, I'm going to vomit, or I can't vomit, or, you know, I'm terrified of vomiting. This is where we actually tell it the reality. Because remember, the fear is going to make you think that the worst case scenario is absolutely going to happen, or very, very likely to happen. But if you look at your past results, every day this year that you've been afraid to go to school because you might throw up, not once has it happened. So we know that actually that worry voice is not always accurate. So what we need to look at is the reality, which is if you get sick, then you get sick, and then you'll feel better. So we say, if I get sick, and then I'll feel better. If I get sick, I get sick, and then I'll feel better. If I get sick, and then I'll feel better. See? Here we go. You may be tempted to tell yourself, I'm not going to throw up. You may want your parents to tell you, honey, you're not going to throw up. It may seem as if this kind of reassurance is helpful, but it isn't. Your brain needs to get used to the idea that puke happens and that it's not a big deal. Reread this book or rewatch this video if you need to. Then make a note card that says, if I get sick, I get sick. And then I'll feel better. And then I'll feel better. Read the note card to yourself and then read it out loud. Read it over and over again, day after day after day, until you've memorized the sentence, until you can say it and actually start believing it. Step 3, challenge yourself to do the things that you're avoiding. Wear the clothes that feel risky. Touch the things you aren't touching. Eat the foods you ate the last time you threw up. Go to the places that remind you of throwing up. Start by making a list of all the things you've been avoiding, the things you associate with throwing up. Turn your list into a set of challenges and start doing them one by one. Now, here's something interesting. She's eating pizza, which I know is something that you haven't been able to enjoy, but you can. Anytime you want to, you can, because you're not allergic to pizza. It's not going to poison you. Because the last time you got sick, it wasn't because of the pizza. There was a stomach virus and your body was protecting you by vomiting. And I know it wasn't at home. And I know that that was a terrible experience for you because you wanted to be at home with mommy and daddy and safe in your own bed. Everybody does. But it happened the way that it happened. And you were okay. You were okay, even though it was hard. So I just want to remind you of that because that's huge. Okay, don't do extreme things to avoid throwing up. Extreme things don't actually protect you. They only keep you focused on your fear. Instead, make your way through your list of challenges. By the way, in case you have seen my little girl come into the screen, notice that I have not used your name, not once in making this video. So nobody here knows who this video is for. They just think I'm a crazy person reading a vomit book into my computer. They have no idea who I'm talking to.
Yeah.
Don't do extreme things to avoid throwing up. Extreme things don't actually protect you. They only keep you focused on your fear. Instead, make your way through your list of challenges. So they made a list of challenges like sit on the edge of the couch, eat mac and cheese. Okay, so you can write a list with mom and dad if you want or just by yourself. And you can list all the things that, you know, you've been avoiding. This one says like wear green socks for a minute because that might be what they had on that day that they threw up. Put on blue leggings. Stop taking your temperature over and over again. Hold on one second. Olivia and Pixie, I need you to stop doing that because you're shaking my camera. If you need to, you can read another book about managing worry, or ask your parents to help you find a therapist or a hypnocoach. Or ask your parents to help you find a therapist to teach you how to do challenges like these, even though you feel afraid. These are ideas about additional books that you and your parents can read and websites your parents can visit at the end of this book. You can learn to manage your fear. Following all 3 steps is a great way to start. So number 1, find your favorite puke word and use it creatively. 2, tell yourself, if I get sick, I get sick, and then I'll feel better. And 3, challenge yourself to do the things you are avoiding. And parents, a quick little note, it's never a bad idea to put a reward on the other end of this because it really is a brave thing that the child is doing to face a fear and to move through it. So, you know, maybe there's something special that can be offered as a reward for facing the fear. Obviously, the reward is you don't have to have this fear of throwing up anymore, which is the biggest reward of all, but just the freedom to not be scared to go places like sleepovers, to school, to the nurse's office, you know, all these things. It just, there's so many rewards built into it, but sometimes it's nice to sweeten the deal. No one likes to throw up. No one likes to see other people throw up. But everyone pukes at least sometimes. Everyone pukes, and someday you will too. And then it will be over, and you can get on with your life. And you will. You will get on with your life. So, friends, yeah, this is really cool. This is a great book, and I highly recommend it. So grab it if you need it. And we are going to do some tapping in our next video on all the things that we read about in this book, because some of the things that, you know, came up might trigger you to feel big feelings. And so we can actually use our fingertips to send a calming signal to the amygdala. Remember, back here, our little panic peanut, as my Olivia would say. And so tapping is the way that we send a calming signal to the amygdala that, hey, it's okay. There's no actual alarm going off right now. We're not actually in danger. We're just working through something. Okay? So that's coming up. And for parents who are interested, Dr. Dawn Huebner is a clinical psychologist and parent coach specializing in childhood anxiety. And she's the author of numerous books, including the award-winning What to Do When You Worry Too Much and Outsmarting Worry. Her work is really excellent. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed letting me read that to you and have that experience with you. And just know that you're not alone. And you really are going to be okay. And I'll see you soon.